everybody, and welcome back to my mum's conservatory and her big cactus and my parents' garden. It's lovely to see you all again. So, on a serious note, welcome back to my channel. Now, today's video is about finding a rental in Amsterdam. There is a very, very good reason for this because, me and Mikey are actually officially moving to Amsterdam in just over 2 weeks' time. It is very exciting. This has been like in the pipeline for a while. There's been ups and downs, but we can officially say that we are actually moving now in just over 2 weeks' time. So I'm really, really excited about that. So before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe, like and comment if you want to follow my journey moving to Amsterdam. And check me out on Instagram and Facebook at itsmeglynny, but I will link them in the description below. So let's get straight onto it. So finding a rental in Amsterdam. So there's a few things in the backstory about Amsterdam rentals that I want to go through first. So, but the thing is, for us, finding an apartment was quite a tough challenge. So that's why I want to share with you what we did and anything that we've learned along the way, anything that, you know, may help you guys in finding a rental. So I really, really want to share that with you. But one thing you need to know about rentals in Amsterdam, they are pretty high cost and they are short availability. Low availability, shall I say. So the market is very fast paced. There are, you know, a shortage of properties, so it goes really, really fast and it's high priced. So really, really do bear that in mind. Now, one thing that I do think has slightly helped us in our search, and it's a bit sad to say because it was such a pandemic and it still is, but I think COVID has had a bit of an effect on the market. I think with less people moving, less expats moving, you know, less jobs and stuff, less people are moving, which is then meaning that, you know, there's a few more rentals available. I have actually seen as well with a few landlords that on the advertisement they have actually said reduced due to COVID, because I think they're obviously trying to get people in rather than having an empty property, which makes sense. So it is quite negative, but I do think it helped. Now, with our story, we currently don't have jobs at the moment. We are applying for jobs at the moment, so that is actually quite exciting. Fingers crossed for us, guys, that we get something soon. So this is really going to be about flat hunting without a job. I think if you've got an employment contract already, it does make it a lot easier. But for those people that want to move without a job initially, this is definitely the video for you. So this is all about my story. Firstly, what I want to start is where to look. Where do you look to try and find an apartment? So there are some websites, I think it's called Paris, and there's only expats.com, but the main one is funder.nl. That's like the largest site that I found personally that had the majority of properties on. They covered all bases, all areas of Amsterdam and surrounding areas. So that was the biggest one that we went on, and via that you can contact agents and you can contact brokers through listings, which is really, really good. One thing I would say about only expats, and I think it was Mikey that really picked up on this, is that I think because it's aimed at expats, it's almost like property was more expensive. I think because, you know, expats aren't currently there, they might be desperate to get a property before they work and start their jobs and before they move. They might be on a shorter time scale than somebody that's already in the country. So it just felt like the prices were a little bit more expensive. Now, myself and Mikey wanted to get an apartment for ourselves, but you do have things like karma.net, which is more aimed at, you know, like rooms in houses, shared houses and stuff. We had a quick look on there, but it really wasn't for what we were looking for. As a couple, we obviously wanted to rent our own space in our own apartment. So going on from that, so as I mentioned, you can contact brokers and agents. Now, with brokers, they will look for you, but you have to be aware that there is a charge and it is usually 1 month's rent. Now, one thing that we found out, so we had a broker that was looking for us quite nicely. He was really sound. He sent us all these official forms. It was from housing.net. They were really, really good, and I can't fault them in that respect. But when we initially said that, oh yeah, so we're going to be selling a house, we're going to have so much money, he then turned around and said that actually really we wouldn't have enough money. He wanted us to have like a minimum of 45,000 euros in the bank when we moved, because the way that he was going to propose it to a prospective landlord was to say they've got, say, 45,000 euros in the bank. If we break that down by 12, this is how much they'd be earning a month if it was a wage. And that was his way of getting around it, which sounded really, really cool and actually really good. And I can't fault them at all. It's just that apparently we didn't have enough money. Then we had another broker that was kind of on the side, that was just sourcing properties. The problem I found with that was, with this particular broker, I think it was Principal Properties, they would contact us about a property and say, are you interested? I'll send some photos, send us your number. So then I'd get back to them and go, yeah, great, sounds great, send us some pictures. And then you wouldn't hear anything for like a month. And then they come back and go, oh, sorry, that property's gone, but I've got this one. And it would be the same story. Yeah, great, interested, send us some more info. And then you just wouldn't hear from them again. So that really just kind of went dead in the water. And with agents, there's normally like an estate agent's fee if you go direct through an agent. And that's normally 1 month's rent as well. Now, the thing that we found, so when we started looking, we actually started looking about 3 months in advance to when we were actually initially planning to go. And everything that we were told was, you're looking too early. The market is so fast in Amsterdam that really you should be looking a month before you plan a move. And we were told pretty much 2 weeks of finding a property and then 2 weeks of paperwork and move in. So we were looking too early, but one thing I would definitely say is, okay, look for your property a month before you move, but definitely a few months prior, check out your areas where you want to live, check out the rental prices and check out the rental availability there. Because I really think you do need to know that. I mean, we had our favourite areas. We knew, because we've been to Amsterdam so many times, and you might have as well. So we didn't really need to particularly look at the areas, but looking at the prices and the availability is definitely something that you want to research, because a month will not give you, you know, your availability and prices in particular areas. Definitely do your research earlier for that. Now, there are some other options of getting a property. So you can pay a year up front. That is quite common, but the landlord has to agree to that. But to be honest, I don't know why a landlord wouldn't agree to that, because they're getting a full year's rent up front. You can pay, say, 6 months up front as well, if that landlord agrees to it. And also there's the option to pay 3-4 months deposit. So the landlord's got that security that if you don't get a job or you do miss rent, they've got potentially up to 4 months rent already in the bank that they won't have to give you back. So there are options as well, but when we were kind of searching, really, nobody was really, like, up for that. We weren't really getting anywhere, we were contacting people, and it was just becoming a really, really hard battle without a job. Now, we as I mentioned, we're applying for jobs now, but I think without that employment contract, it does make it a lot more difficult. And I do get it, because why is someone going to take someone on without a job necessarily? But we did have money in the bank. We could support ourselves for quite a good number of months without needing to work with the funds that we'll be taking, but we just weren't getting anywhere. But anyway, there are like a few tips for you. Research your areas. If you know your area and stuff, then you don't really need to start looking a month before. Know that with brokers you'll pay a fee and that you probably need a large amount of savings. And know that you can pay a year up front, 6 months up front, or higher deposits. They're your options. Now for us, I would definitely say we were very lucky, and it was a bit of fate how we found our apartment and how lucky that we were. So we were in a couple of expat type group things, and there were the odd people that were expats that wanted to sublet their property and stuff. We didn't go down that route. I never really comment on many things public in Facebook. I kind of just read things, get information, and, you know, get advice and help and whatever. And randomly, there's one comment I commented on, and then somebody private messaged me saying, hey, my boss has got an apartment for rent, and it's here, and are you interested? It's from this date. And so I contacted back and was like, okay, cool, great. I was very upfront and honest from the start. It was an English person that is sorting it out. It was an English person with the Dutch partner, and the actual landlord is Dutch. But yeah, and initially, one thing that I will say, and I am going to do another video on this, there are a lot of scams in Amsterdam, so I'm going to do a separate video on how to avoid scams. But yeah, anyway, so what happened was, so we chatted a bit, and I was very upfront and honest, because I didn't want to, you know, lead anyone on, or, you know, lead myself on, getting excited for something that won't happen. I advise that I haven't got a job, but myself and Mikey are selling the property in the UK, we'll be funding it, and we had a virtual tour, because we couldn't travel to the country due to COVID. Initially, we had like a virtual tour, we spoke to the people that were arranging it all, and they were very, very nice and amazing. They understood our situation. They put their faith into us, which was, you know, amazing. And yeah, and then we met the owner, and we went and viewed it in person once the restrictions were lifted. We met the owner of the property, and yeah, it's all going well, and we move like in just under 2 weeks. So it's very exciting, and I do genuinely think that was a bit of luck. I do think you have to be in the right place networking, but I also think being honest and upfront works, and it's really, really worked out for us. And I will be doing apartment tours. Don't worry, as soon as I've moved, you'll get the apartment tour, so make sure to stick around for that. But I hope that's given you something, you know, to give you an idea about what to expect. Because we didn't know what to expect, we didn't know how difficult it would be. It was really difficult trying to get an apartment, and we are very lucky and we are very grateful for what we have. We have this beautiful apartment, and I can't wait to give you an apartment tour. But if you've got any other questions around finding an apartment or anything like that, then do drop me a message in the comments. Happy to share, happy to help. Subscribe, follow me on all my platforms, and I will see you